course, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we trust that you've enjoyed your lunch. It's off. Let me hold it.
It's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we trust that you've enjoyed your lunch and ask that you please move to the sitting area for the closing remarks by myself and Mr. Sangweni. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please move to the sitting area for the closing remarks. Thank you. There's still some space here in front if you guys want to move a bit closer. ba bitsa Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, before concluding with the closing remarks, I'd like to open it up for the floor. Any comments, any pressing issues or discussions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the lady from ASA to come and tell us what she thought of the presentation? If she's here. Is she here?
What was the question?
Tell us how you found it and the questions and
I almost said praise God.
Sorry.
Hallelujah. Thank you for the opportunity. This was my first time attending the summit. I've only joined ASAP 6 months ago, so I'm still relatively new. So ASAP, we look at, well, my role at ASAP is linking the entity with national stakeholders. And in doing so, we're trying to get science as far-reaching as possible, hence the collaborations. So we've been speaking with ATNS in this regard and see what role can ASAP play in the aviation space. And being here today has actually opened my eyes because I can see there's a lot of research and expertise in aviation that ASAP can draw on to actually find our foot somewhere in the space. So thank you for the invitation and putting me on the hot spot.
Thanks, Gil.
whoever is running this, guys, can you try some food?
Is it on?
They keep choking these things. Okay, thanks, Ricky. I was just telling a lady from ASAP that as South Africa, we did something which I call a vuvuzela by having the first Global Aviation Gender Summit. First ever ICAO, which was held in Cape Town. And on the stage is one of our pride and joy in terms of what aviation can do, especially to gender. And I'm encouraging our sisters, our mothers, and our young kids to live up to this challenge of aviation. This is a shining example. And aviation is not just about food. There's a lot happening. We've got the legal committee, which talks about the Chicago Convention. We need legal experts in aviation. We need doctors. We talk about Ebola and all these other things. We need those medical expertise. We need people of infrastructure. We've got runways, runway planning and infrastructure development. And that is also part and parcel. of Aviation. We have fire and rescue, which has its own expertise again in aviation. And this is what that we need from all of you colleagues, not just about flying. There's a lot more. And I wish to welcome you and invite you to this vibrant and exciting industry. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre, and thank you very much, Tebogo. I had the pleasure of doing my undergrad with Tebogo more than 20 years ago. We did our Bachelor of Science together. It's good to see you again. I would like to welcome now Mr. Dumisani Sangweni, who is the Executive of Strategy and Optimization at Air Traffic Services. He has worked in the airline industry, transport sector, and corporate public sector as a business analyst, consulting at executive level for over 15 years. Mr. Sangweni was appointed Managing Director and Chief Executive of Air Tanzania in 2004. Prior to that, he worked in various commercial executives roles at SAA. He graduated from Embry-Riddle University in the USA with an undergrad BSc in Aviation Technology and completed a postgrad in Transport Economics, a business admin from the University of Johannesburg and University of South Africa. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks. Thank you, MC. My concluding remarks will be shorter than your introduction of me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come unexpectedly to the end of the proceedings today. Unfortunately, we are not going to hear from one of the speakers, which brings us to the close of the program, but I've been asked to say a few concluding remarks. It should have been my colleague, Dr. Sandile Malinga, standing up here to conclude, but he's not with us, so I shall attempt to do the honors there. I think our rep at ICAO, Mr. Tsepo, has said it all. I will not try and extend beyond his remarks, but we have a lot to be proud of in terms of where we have come with Aviafrique from the first sessions of a few years ago. I forget how long we've been running, but I think we're achieving what we set out to do, to collaborate on an innovative platform across all sectors, not just aerospace and aviation. And with the presentations that we saw today, with the discussions that we saw today, we are beginning, I think, to realize that. For me, if I may just recall some of the interactions that I had, the ASAF presentation, as has been talked about a few minutes ago, was quite brilliant. We saw a different perspective of what different professionals are doing in their individual areas. A very nice presentation. I had the opportunity to also attend a presentation by our own senior manager, ATNS ATM, who talked about unmanned aerial systems, and very thought-provoking indeed. And lastly, we also had the opportunity to hear about the passive radar system presented by CSIR, which I think is also quite groundbreaking technology that in the future, once incubated and the proof of concept has been proven, would definitely add value to the ATM system, not only in South Africa should it materialize, but beyond the borders. The challenge now is to find ways of doing that through our various platforms, and it's platforms such as this where people can start talking that we will realize that. We had a very interesting discussion earlier. I joined it. I was a bit late, but I did catch some of the high emotion around it, which was the SKA presentation. Very good that we're beginning to discuss. I think that discussion needs to take greater proportions in different platforms because where technologies converge and there are tensions, as is mostly the case in different sectors, there must be a way to discuss and find a way. I had the opportunity to talk to a few gentlemen from the HSRC. I actually missed my lunch because they interviewed me for about 45 minutes, and they were talking to me about their efforts in research around innovation in different industries. And one of the industries they're looking at is aerospace, aviation, and linked industries. And it was a very interesting discussion. And these are some of the things that conferences, summits such as this nature do, those type of impromptu type of discussions that you engage in. It was an eye-opener because it brought to me the very reason that we are converged here, at least for ATNS. This was seen as an initiative that would help in its networking strategy, talking to different stakeholders, whether internally in the country or outside the country, to further its aims of providing a cost-effective ANS or air navigation service using various air traffic management solutions to its client base, which ultimately, we must not forget, is the industry. And we do so because we want them to be sustainable at the end of the day, and in whatever we do, that must be foremost in our minds. We collaborate because we're trying to create an industry or play a vital part as a particular segment of the industry that will help the broader aviation industry, our airline industry, our clients, the general aviation industry, be sustainable. And make, at the end of the day, make us all sustainable. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think our MC did open the floor. I don't know if anyone wants to comment or give some particular thoughts as to how the proceedings were today, what can be done differently, input for next sessions. I know there's a session tomorrow. We'll continue in the auditorium next door. But please, I think this is an opportunity to speak and say a few words for those who would like to do so. I saw a hand.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to go back to Kadepian. What you just said now, how there's a need of medical doctors in aviation, legal people in aviation as well. So we visit the schools and we give that information. But the problem is, I see this opportunity, I see the platforms like this as an opportunity to actually give such information to young people. Like now, as you are saying this, I want to go back to schools and say, look, there's still more need into that. But I think we can do something different. Can you please allow me every year when you invite me to come with at least 5 learners from matric who can come and benefit better, because I managed to phone to email ATNS and said I've got 3 young people who I asked to bring along with me. There I am. One of them, oh, okay, they can raise hand, yeah, those 3. One of them matriculated 4 years ago, and then he's got a mechanical engineering from Wits University. The other 2 they just matriculated. But then, that's the thing, he was sitting at home with no work, and then now, unfortunately, he's starting to go to work tomorrow. But then what really touched me today was when he received a bag, and then he was like, yo, I'll still write a thank you. You know, I'm starting work tomorrow, and now I've got this. So it's those small things that we take for granted, and other people they can do more with. So it's those young people who are from previously disadvantaged areas who can come here to enjoy, even learn from us and enjoy this food, because now I'm full and I've left some kind of this food in my house. But somebody who can come and get this to remind him, or hey, oh, this was an opportunity for them. So that is what I'm asking from you to say, can you allow me? I always go to schools, there's good young people, there's one in Limpopo now who wants to do law in aviation, but he doesn't know where to go. And I also don't know how to say to him, okay, we've got somebody who can be your role model and mentor you, because I don't know. But now you just said, and I think you will guide me to also go back and assist more. Thank you.
Please, can those young graduates that were spoken about by Auslerato come forward? Thank you so much, Auslerato, as they come forward for mentioning that. Thank you so much, Auslerato, for mentioning that. In fact, that's one of the other reasons we exist in this forum as all stakeholders today. The younger generation. Thank you, Mr. Thayer. The younger generation needs to be inspired, needs to be guided, needs to be mentored. This platform is one such platform where they can learn and have a view of what lies ahead of them, as I said earlier, not only in aviation, aerospace, but in other sectors. And it's such an honor to have these students stand in front of us after their achievements. They are only starting their careers. The world is in front of them, and this is what must inspire them. This is what must keep them going to get even to greater heights. Congratulations. Do you want to say a few words? Name and
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abhinav, and my sister here, who is the one who phoned, personally came and told me about the event. I had no idea that this was going to take place. So I would like to thank the organizations for getting this kind of information together. I believe that these are the opportunities that we young people, as the future of this country, are in need of. If this kind of information does not get to us, we have social media, we have schools, but still this kind of information takes time to get to us. So I think this kind of information is what we really need, that there are opportunities there, but information is what we need for us to be able to get to those kind of opportunities. So that bag that I got, the one thing that came to mind was that I have a child at home who's doing grade 3. I got that bag from her, so I used to carry my laptop with it. And I got to a point where I was like, no, man, this is not fun. If I get to a train, that bag gets knocked around the corridors, against the walls, it gets scratches and all that. But that kind of a bag, it's more than safe now. I will carry it. So I just like to thank everyone for this opportunity, and I believe with this, from moving on here, a lot of people are going to be aware of this opportunity, and
let's hear the name, the young lady, your little speech. Oh, where are you working?
Oh, I did mechanical engineering at West University. I graduated in April. Been applying to companies, but no response, which is also another problem. You ask yourself, if you are not going to give a person a job, why can't you just maybe send him an email saying we acknowledge that you guys are going to hire. So I've been trying, and fortunately I got an internship from a company called Robots Technologies. So I'll start as a quality control as of tomorrow for
Greetings to you all. My name is Mahomoni. I matriculated last year and I'm so honored to have such an opportunity. I've never had such in my whole entire life. And Auxiliary was godly sent into my life. So such opportunities as Black young children we don't used to have. We are so much honored to be here with such people, businessmen and so many intellectuals. They are like, guys, you are like role models in our lives. As I've matriculated, this year I was doing nothing. I even thought to join an ECT training, which is early childhood development. I'm learning to become a teacher for grade R and crash children so that I could develop young children. As I studied acting of a technical secondary school, I matriculated last year. So this year I was doing nothing, but unfortunately due to that, I have applied for bursaries and they did not respond in time. That's why I didn't have that opportunity to go to varsity. But such is a great opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, greetings to all. My name is Dirima Luchwe. Yeah, my brother and sister just said it all. All I'm going to say, I appreciate the opportunity you guys gave us. It really means a lot to us. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that. Another round of applause for them. And thanks, Auxilerato, for reminding us about the younger generation. I'm also reminded by the team that we are streaming live. So if this is not an inspiration to the younger generation out there watching this, I don't know what else is, which is a very good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there are any other comments in the back there.
Thank you, Chair. There was a summit like this last year. I think we would like some feedback from the achievements, from resolutions that came out of the different discussions. So something like that would really help us monitor our progress and make the necessary changes available. So you don't get to attend each and every session. You attend 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. So really some feedback in either whatever form or format will really help us see our progress. Thank you.
Could someone from the organizing committee answer that? Could someone from the organizing committee answer that? I believe the presentations and some of the papers that are given are published, if I'm not mistaken. The question around how do we take forward some of the issues that we developed. If we can't answer today, we'll attempt to answer it in tomorrow's session. But thank you for that. Oh, I see Lisa would want to say a few words. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Sorry, that caught me off guard. Yes, the presentations and the speakers' presentations and the presentations that were done by different companies are published, so they are available for everyone who is interested in those presentations. Thank you.
Are they digital?
Yes, they are digital. They're on the website.
Progress.
May I assist? When we put the program together, we try to bear in mind the discussions from the previous year. So in that way, we try to cover the resolutions that have been made. And I think you brought up a very, very important point. So what we try to do tomorrow in between the program will reflect on the resolutions that were taken last year and provide feedback. Thank you.
Okay. I think you handled it, Jeff. Is that fine? Thank you. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to enjoy an observation. I just thought, I said South Africa made a milestone with the first ever global gender conference. But now I just noticed from the three wonderful guys, thank you guys, what about the ladies? You said thank you guys.
You said thank you, guys.
Was it the English?
Guys, and it's used.
Now, another thing, just speaking as from the Department of Transport, every year on the 7th of December, in honoring the Chicago Convention, where the International Civil Aviation Day. And every year it rotates amongst the provinces. Last year we were in Western Cape. This year the International Civil Aviation Day is going to be going to Mpumalanga. So basically what happens in the International Civil Aviation Day, we invite all the high schools in the province. ATNS is there, the Civil Aviation Authority is there, SACA is there, and we all talk about opportunities in aviation. So I'm going to be encouraging all of us to be part of that International Civil Aviation Day, because in that we address what is called November Golf Alpha Papa. Are we on board? November Golf Alpha Papa. Can somebody tell me what is that? What is that?
National Global Aviation Plan.
The what?
National.
Next generation of aviation professionals. Because that is very important to be passing the baton to the next generation. Arthur, where are you? Can you stand up? General, can you stand up? I mean, Jeff, stand up. I mean, look, all these old people. They have to pass everything.
Very mischievous. Sorry. General apologies. It wasn't my making. It's a board member we're talking about. And of course, Mr. Bradshaw, the former board member. But at least you introduce them. Other people to introduce, we talked of, or to acknowledge, we talked of the keynote speaker who was not unfortunately able to join us, Mr. Mohammed Musa from ASECNA. It would have been lovely to hear from him. But part of this forum is to also reach out to our counterparts throughout the continent, and we have with us here some of those colleagues, and I'm sorry I may miss other people, but it's worth, and apologies for that. If I do miss you, we will acknowledge you tomorrow, but it's worth noting that Ms. Sandrine Nassau is with us from the Authority of Civil Aviation, Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you. Merci, Madam. Yes, and of course, we also have my good friend, Mr. Eddie Kioni, Deputy CEO, DRC ASP, who is with us. I don't know if you have, both of you would have any insights on today. How have you experienced it? Would you like to talk about some of the developments? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but it's okay. We can hear you tomorrow, if not. Thank you. And apologies if I have omitted anyone. Now we must really conclude, but before I do that, it would not be right if I didn't ask our general board member to say a few words on his inaugural Avi-Africa Innovation Summit. He's one of our board members who joined us early this year.
Thanks, thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I was touched on this young man since I graduated, and nobody was offered. In fact, nobody was even applying when I applied for a job. Now, he may have said that, like, talking about himself, but that's just a microcosm of the entire country. We have that problem. And we spoke talking about innovations, innovative ways, believe you me, especially for the previous disadvantage, it's very frustrating after maybe all the efforts one has to go through to try and graduate, and then at the end of it all, there is nothing waiting. So perhaps, while we're talking innovations here, we should try to work out a way in which we can absorb those that have just newly graduated. Remember, the path that we've followed up to now, it's part and parcel of healing the nation, transforming the face of aviation, getting the correct mix, and bringing on board those that have been left behind over the years. And we have to acknowledge, not many companies belong to black people. They themselves still need to experience a breakthrough into this industry. But for those that break through, if a system can be worked out whereby some number can be absorbed, we don't know whether maybe it can be worked in conjunction with the government to sponsor or to subsidize, just so that we don't lose the talent. Firstly, we have to go and motivate at grassroots level. Go to the schools. I've listened to quite a few today, people that say, I go and encourage young people, and a good example is in front of us here, to encourage them to come in, to make them aware of the spectrum of opportunities in aviation, and that's not just about piloting or air traffic control. There's technology as well. Just so that this spreads through the nation, it is a way of uplifting the quality of life, because given the history of black people, one person who is a breadwinner in a family looks after even cousins, a lot of other people. That's how we are, that's who we are. It's not a matter of one person being just himself, being successful, and it's a lot of it all. The way we've been structured as black people is that they don't even negotiate. A poor cousin comes and joins your family, you will never take them away. You have to feed them, they've got to go to school. That is our reality. So somehow in our success, let us remember that part and parcel of it is to also uplift everybody around us. We've got airlines 9 schools. Some of them private. I know of the official one will be the Air Force one. We've got people that graduate as with commercial pilot's licenses, and then they hold it and end up working at McDonald's. That is painful. So, I have no solutions. I've treaded this path before. Those who know me will know I'm gaining my gray hair with frustration because my dreams have not been realized. Where we would have even had an aviation academy that belongs to the government, whereby we can control the mode of production. That is still something that frustrates. But at that time, it was white succeeds and the black fail. We've long, I'm sure it's about 15 years, 20 years, we've gone past that. The matter of black and white doesn't play center role anymore. We've all recognized we breathe the same oxygen, we're all South Africans. And the problems we have, we share. Because if he doesn't succeed and becomes a thief, he doesn't choose by color who he robs. He is controlled by an empty stomach. And anybody can be a victim. And therefore we share that frustration. In so saying, we need to come together. We need to recognize, firstly, that we breathe the South African air, oxygen together. We all honor the same flag and anthem. We are all human. If you cut your skin, everyone's blood is red. It's not determined by the pigmentation of the skin. Therefore, we are united in something more than divided by a few differences. And that's our strength. So, when we need to solve the problem of those that have been left behind, we are no longer just saying black. I've seen at the roads intersections, people who are asking for arms are not only black, you get white and black. And you cannot choose by color who you give. So there is a call of unity that I'm making now. That let's put together our strengths, let's have a common love for our nation, and let us have innovative ways to absorb those that are newly graduated, so that they develop and they can grow. I think.
Thank you, General, for those words. And those words actually will help us close proceedings today. No country must be left behind. No person must be left behind. Quite correct. But we must also acknowledge those who have come to the fore. Mr. Pierre talked about Ms. Lidwaba here, who has been a shining example of what youth, and we expect youth to be doing in industries such as this. There are others. There is Mr. Zimba there, who actually was one of us at ATNS and went on a program talking of innovation, a program that had been started by our former CEO, Mr. Mtiane, when he was an engineer, running the engineering department, of sending students, a group of students, engineers, to France, INEC. And the likes of Mr. Zimba there went and specialized to the extent that today they are here at CSIR. He was explaining the passive radar to me. It's so enlightening to see, as you say, we're pulling people along, and it should happen throughout the breadth of the industry, as Sislerato was showing us. There are many more. There's Putti there, who also went on a similar program to INAC, and I'm sure there are many other beneficiaries of that program. Innovation is also about investing in your human resources. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been most enlightening. I've been assisted in running this closing remarks session. We've kind of winged it, but Auslerato helped me there. I'm not full, actually. I didn't have lunch, so after this, I hope there's something for me. But thank you. We acknowledge all the presenters today. Really, you did a fantastic job starting early this morning after our opening remarks by the CEO with the guest speaker, Mr. Adrian Tiplady, who did a brilliant job on SKA, and it involved a very robust discussion. Give him a round of applause. We then had the 4 presentations running simultaneously and repeating the DPSS passive radar done by CSIR, ATNS, the ATM unmanned system, ASAF, we've heard from them, TIA. I didn't attend that one, apologies, I wish I had, but I'm sure it was most inspirational, and I'm sure people can attest to that. Thank you to all those presenters. They did a wonderful job. A round of applause for them. And lastly, thank you to the organizers, starting with the MC here, for today's session, and we hope you continue doing this wonderful job into tomorrow. The organizers, camera crew, to all of you here, executives, CEOs of different companies, my colleagues, board members, former board members, Bradshaw there, all over, all stakeholders in the industry, and those who have attended today for making the event what it was today. It wouldn't be what it was if you were not here and gracing us with your presence. We will then continue into tomorrow. I think Ms. Letwava will talk about that a bit before we close. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our Day 1 program. Thank you to all speakers, presenters, exhibitors, and delegates for a very inspiring Free Day 1. I won't be with you tomorrow, but Mr. Lyndon Benz will be with you tomorrow, and we will be starting at 8:30 sharp. Okay, before we close, we'll just like to acknowledge one more person, Mr. Manuel Nzakimwena. Is that correct? Okay. He's the Director of External Affairs and Liaison at Inana. Okay. Where is he? Welcome, sir. Okay, I think we will be able to beat traffic. We've planned it that way. And I wish you all safe travels and have a very good afternoon. Thank you.
said, that's like it's allowed so that they can see. Yeah. I'm sure that that's a caliber of, yeah, that's a caliber of what we are now raising. And he sees me in an Ethiopian Airlines pilot uniform. What he said, they couldn't believe it. You know? So I said, but here I am. No, what happened? The other one said, Mr. Like, I'm not talking about friends. The other one said, you mean mistake of name? That is late. Now the interview goes through my head. Then he says to me, what is the best? But, you know, I
But that's it. And I'm flying a 767 by that time. You know, I am having an 8-year old brother when you want to fly.
They could not accept it.
Listen to the next one. They say to me, Karen, what's your first language? I said, no. He said, we Africans are white. We have problems. How can you tell us that British CAA license when that's not possible? Fix the license. Oh, what are you saying? All these licenses here. The last part of it, he says, Mr. Guy, when our, no, what we mean is, you just can be afford to buy a ticket. Buy it. He said, what is listening to that 2-hour plain white line when you see that person with the cockpit? You don't know that because they are going to fly. And that, they are very good too. I said, excuse me, I did not apply for the job. I'm flying my this in Zimbabwe because I'm flying in Zimbabwe. Please, let me just go home. I fly myself. He said, no, not so easy. If you can prove to us, send us the original CAA. I think we're not going to go to somebody who will miraculous paper. This is what he said to me. He said to me, no problem. You are on the 760. I went. When I came back, they expired the guy.
So when did you start
After I did my university on the 23rd of March, 1977, I was on the campus. No, I was outside. South Africa, when was the Washington? No, I tried. It was when you look at the show about aircraft, we flew outside. And when I succeeded, English ones, multi-engine, at night, instrument rating, they do that just
you had to pay for it.
Everything worked out. From within the Air Force.